Wow. President Gibson, Provost Rome, thank you for a memory of a lifetime. On behalf of my entire family, it's a day we'll never forget. But today is not about me. If I could, I'd take all these lights and I'd shine them on you, the graduates. You're to be commended, you're to be applauded, as I know that your road has not been easy. It's not been linear, there have been barriers. There have been those that say you can't, but this day has arrived. You see, I know your journey. I'm an immigrant, a proud immigrant. Thank you. Born in Bogota, Colombia, raised by my mother, yeah, for the Colombianos. I don't even need to see you, I can hear you. That's what I love about Colombia. My mother raised us. Father abandoned us. But my mom was the one that always instilled in us, mijitos, you gotta learn to look deeper. Don't judge color, don't judge the way somebody sounds. You see, my mom endured a lot of racism, a lot of doors that closed. She never graduated high school, didn't come to the US speaking English. She learned to speak, but always had a Spanish accent. It would upset me when I'd hear people mock my mother, but she'd always tell me, cálmate, mijito. We gotta be strong, we gotta learn to look deeper. That stayed with me to this day. Thank you. About 20 years ago, I made the fateful decision to move to Chicago, and my life would never be the same. It's during this time in Chicago that I recognized that my journey in architecture had to be one where communities and people of color had to matter. So in 2010, I launched my firm. And there by my side was my wife. Yep. And she's here, Laura, who knew that the path to starting your own firm as minorities was not the easiest road, but it's the road we had to take. And there she was, always supporting me. Let it be known, as we talk about breaking barriers, my wife, an immigrant, architect, is currently the chair of the Chicago Plan Commission, the first time a Latino architect immigrant has held that position ever. Amor, you are the definition of breaking barriers. In 2013, I had the great pleasure of being introduced to Northeastern Illinois University. Yeah, you were embarking upon El Centro. You put a call out to architects in this city asking for proposals for what El Centro could be. When you read the proposal, it talked about experience in higher education, community, and I recognized that only in our third year as a firm, this was a proposal that we had to submit. At the time, we had really limited higher education experience. But this piece about community, making a difference, giving people a chance, it's like, my God, that's me. So we submitted our proposal, like dozens of other firms in Chicago. And although our proposal was limited on project, it wasn't short of words. And the notion that El Centro had to be a place of dignity and inspiration for everybody that stepped foot in that building. Thankfully, your selection committee read those words, and I was asked to interview. 4 interviewees, my firm, and 3 of the largest, not only in Chicago, but in the US. And in that interview, I could clearly see and hear those words that my mom always said to me, look deeper. Yet I was experiencing it from all of you. You really wanted to get to know me. Not my past work. What was I going to do for you? In the interview, you asked me at the end what this building, El Centro, would mean to me. And I said, with all due respect, it has nothing to do with me. It has to do for all of you. That if done right, that building could inspire those that have never thought about stepping foot in higher education to do it. That building has a chance to leave an indelible mark in this city so that when people go by it, and trust me, when I was interviewing for El Centro and telling my friends and colleagues, my God, I have an interview with Northeastern Illinois University for the El Centro building, every one of them corrected me, saying, Northwestern? Northern Illinois? Or Northeastern in Boston? You got a job in Boston? No, Northeastern Illinois University. So in that interview, I said, this is a chance to change that narrative. And yes, architecture has that innate power. By selecting me to be your architect, you have forever changed my life. I stand in front of you humbly as one of the largest Latino architecture firms in the United States. You are my game changer. Your El Centro is recognized as one of the 200 most important buildings in the history of Illinois. It is arguably one of the most award-winning higher education buildings that the state has ever seen, and it was always done for you. The opening of El Centro, the year that it opened, also coincided with the birth of our first son. Yeah, and he's here. Evan Domingo, thank you for being the gift that keeps on giving. Te amo. Te amo, mijito. This journey in Chicago has also created this perfect storm in my life where I was reintroduced to my father. And it had to do with education. A family member from Medellin chose Chicago to do her postgraduate studies, and I'd never met anybody on my father's side. And she looked me up and heard that possibly there was a cousin that lived in the US that possibly lived in Chicago. And she sought me out. And I met with her. And in that meeting, she said, I'm getting married in Medellin. I'd like you to be at the wedding, and I want you to meet your father, my uncle. I said, no, he abandoned us. And that's where the conversation ended, and I called my mother immediately. Her first words to me, have I taught you nothing? You've been presented with the opportunity of a lifetime to profoundly learn more about your father, and you walked away. I hung up with my mom, called my cousin, and said, I'm going to Colombia. The visit with my dad, who's since passed, but changed my life. I learned things about myself that I never knew I could do. Forgiveness. I mean, talk about really learning to look deep into a human being. Yeah, my father failed as a father and as a husband, but that didn't make him an awful human being. And I learned that. That gift also presented itself with some rumors that I might have a brother and sister, yet I couldn't find them. They were born in the US, I didn't know where they were. Information was difficult to come by. Those of you from Latin America know what I mean. It was a fateful day where my wife and I, for Christmas, decided to give each other a gift of Ancestry.com for Christmas. Yes. There we sent our saliva away to get our DNA results, and 3 months passed, and there I had some messages one day, Saturday morning while I'm enjoying a cup of coffee. Hey, Juan Gabriel Moreno, this is Daniel Moreno. Our DNA is really close. I think we're brothers. Hi, Juan Moreno. I'm Jeanette Moreno. These DNA results are conspicuously close. I think I'm your sister. 3 years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting my sister Jeanette and my brother Daniel. As I like to say, we are brothers and sisters, literally and figuratively, from another mother. I present to you my brother and sister who've flown in from Las Vegas and Seattle for this unforgettable day. Yes. Thank you for looking profoundly into me and giving me a chance to be in your life. I love you both. I promised President Gibson I'd keep it together. I'm going to keep my promise. Today in business, when I meet someone new, a new client says, what are you doing? What work have you done? I've never heard your name before. Say, well, unless you've gone into Chicago's community of color, you're not going to know my work. But do you drive? They always look at me curiously. What do you mean? Of course I drive. Well then, you've been on the Kennedy. Ever go by Belmont, Kimball, see a blue and yellow building that speaks to you? Northeastern Illinois University El Centro? Is that the one you're talking about? Oh my God. I didn't have to tell you who Northeastern Illinois University was. Damn it. Lastly, I'll close by saying that upon meeting Northeastern Illinois University in 2013, I've always felt attachment to you. You gave me a chance of a lifetime. I've always felt I was going to be your friend forever, that I was going to be an ambassador to the university, an advocate for all the incredible things that you do. Never in my wildest dreams did I'd ever think that I'd officially be family. Thank you for welcoming me into the NEIU family. All the best. Thank you. Thank you.